Okay, angle A and angle B are a linear pair. I'm going to make a sketch. We can do this without a sketch, but let's do it. Let's say that this is angle A and this is angle B. And if measure of angle A is 5 times the measure of angle B, and just for our sketch to be a little bit more accurate, let's say that's A and that's B. Not that it matters, but it actually, it'll be a little bit closer to realistic if we have A being bigger, because as it says up here, the measure of angle A is 5 times the measure of angle B. And if you had struggled with this, you might not have known that that's what that's saying. It's not that the measure of angle A is 5. It's that the measure of angle A is 5 times the measure of angle B. Okay? Find measure of angle A, find measure of angle B. So we could say, check out how we do this. I'm going to write this here and say, okay, we've got measure of angle A I can do better, plus the measure of angle B equals 180. Okay? Now, I'm going to use substitution here. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay? We know that if we wanted to write the measure of angle A, if we have the measure of angle A, which we have right here, because measure of angle A is equal to 5 times the measure of angle B, we can substitute this with that expression. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to substitute measure of angle A with 5 times the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle B equals 180. Okay, well, if we've got some amount, measure of angle B, plus 5 times this amount, really the coefficient on this, how many measures of angle B do we have? We have one of them. We have 1 times the measure of angle B, or just the measure of angle B. Well, if we've got 5 times that, or a coefficient of 5 on this basically variable, because we don't know what that equals, right? It's not written in variable terms, but you can, if you understand variables well enough, you'll understand that we could just think of that as this whole thing, measure of angle B, as being some variable, meaning some number that we don't know. So you've got 5 times that number plus 1 of that number. So how many of that number do you have? You have it here 5 times, you have it here once, for a total of 6 times. So we've got a total of 6 times that measure, okay, equals 180. And now we just divide both sides by 6. 6 times the measure of angle B divided by 6 equals 180 divided by 6. And then we find that the measure of angle B is equal to 180 divided by 6, or 30. We know that the measure of angle B is 30. Okay, so here they're saying up top, find the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B. Measure of angle A should be listed first, so the second number should be this number 30. Which one is that? Well, right away we can see that that's B. Okay, but let's just check it. We can say if the measure of angle B is 30, and here I'll write this, I'll do this in red here. The measure of angle A equals 5 times the measure of angle B. And this right here, this value, we're going to replace with 30, because that's what that's worth. Okay, so we can say now the measure of angle A is equal to 5 times, measure of angle B is 30. And now we find that the measure of angle A is equal to 150. Okay? So we know the measure of angle, they're saying find the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B. They're listing the measure of angle A first. So this number will go first, and we should have 150. And then the measure of angle B, which is 30. So B is our answer. This can be a little bit complicated if you can see that that just means 5 times that amount. So you've got, to be the linear pair, to sum to 180, you've got 5 times the amount of B plus the amount of B. And for total, you have that amount 6 times then, equaling 180. So you can boil it down and find out what one of them is, and plug it back in to find out the other one. Listen to this twice if you need to.